Hi, everyone. I am Dana with Integrative Counsel, and this is Jennifer Carey up in
Hello.
Massachusetts, and this is the amazing Kelly Russell that we have with us today. We finally got sort of the arms right. It's only been, is this our 13th? Or this is our 12th interview. Because everything's in reverse. So this is Conscious and Connected with during COVID-19, and really the sole aim being how can we continue to provide gifts from these amazing practitioners, and really with the knowledge that we all have something to give. So if you too would like to be featured on Conscious and Connected, feel free to email hello@integrativecounsel.org. I'm going to hand it over to Jen, and she's going to introduce Kelly.
Yes. So all of you out there who have ever heard me say, well, Coach Kelly says this, or Coach Kelly helped me with this, or any of you out there who has said to me, Jen, you've really changed in this way. Well, it makes me very excited to share her with all of you. And it is Coach Kelly here on this interview. So we are so happy to have you here today. And we start with a question that I keep joking is simple and easy, and that is describing yourself under 4 minutes. So whatever you want us to know about you in under 4 minutes.
Well, one thing that people probably already know about me is that it's going to be really hard for me to describe myself in under 4 minutes. But that's not because there's so much to describe. It's just because I'm from the Midwest, and we tend to use a million words to describe everything. So the short answer is that I'm an expression of spirit appearing to be human in the world, as I think we all are. And I am a Course in Miracles longtime student, 18 years, and a Course in Miracles teacher. And I also coach from the perspective of a Coach in Miracles. In my coaching practice, I'm the Rock Your Joy coach, and my practice is Rock Your Joy at rockyourjoy.com. And as a psychotherapist, I try to integrate the principles of A Course in Miracles, essentially those that apply to everyone, whether they're a Course in Miracles practitioner or not. Excuse me. And that the main thing being that there's always a choice between love and fear. And that when you choose with fear, you're choosing things like a terrible experience in the world, victimhood, making meaning out of everything that happens in a negative way, and what that how that shows up in your life is in the form of conflict and depression and anxiety and et cetera, et cetera. If you choose love, then you can be at peace no matter what appears to be happening. And so my mission is to help people to choose love, to understand what that means, to look at how their underlying beliefs have been causing them to choose fear unwittingly and unconsciously. And that the more that they are able to consciously choose love, the more that they are going to see the life that they want, and that they will be able to just notice transformation in their relationships in particular, and as well as in just their experience of the world. So I don't know if that's under the 4 minutes, but
yes, it definitely was. And again, this is an opportunity for me to say, having had the honor of being one of your students, that it may seem so simple. Okay, everything boils down to love versus fear, but she's absolutely right. Everything boils down to love versus fear. And I am so grateful for all the opportunities I've had with you to look at how some of the beliefs that I had fossilized that were completely untrue. We like to say that they were something, and and then we've been able to look at them closely and be able to choose differently and have a shift in perspective. And so thank you for that lead in, Kelly, because it gives me an opportunity to say how so much boils down to that, and you do a extraordinary job at being able to discern when you work with me. Okay, that's actually fear that actually falls underneath this belief, and how can we shift it to love?
Thank you for those lovely words and for the compliments. And I feel like it's not really me. It's me. It's being a clear channel for spirit to work through. And I don't mean that like I'm a channel as in other people are not. I think we all are channels for the universal, whatever you want to call it, whether it's the universe or God or spirit or the creator or whatever our language for it is. We all have the opportunity to express that in the world and to use our gifts in such a way as to channelize it for the people's good. The Course in Miracles is the portal through which it comes to me. But there are, as the Course in Miracles itself says, there are many paths, and that is only one of them, but it's the one that resonates with me the most. And so being able to help people who are drawn to that path to utilize it in a way that can make their lives, their experience here in this, in this world, the world is what it is, and we make meaning of it every single minute. And we're either making meaning of it through love, or we're making meaning of it through fear. And I know when you started to say, it sounds so simple, and even the Course in Miracles itself says it's simple, but not easy. And that's because our ego minds, our conditioned selves, that part of our mind that just constantly makes us doubt ourselves, second guess ourselves, have these catastrophic, fearful thoughts. Even in the middle of COVID-19, people can either, they can orient their thinking in whichever way they choose. If they orient their thinking toward fear, that's when you hear about people projecting out like what if we don't go back to school until January? What if what if it doesn't ever come back to the way it was? What if we have wave after wave of this disease, this virus? And what if this and what if that, without having any idea of what's actually really going to happen. And so we can give over to fear in that way. And what happens? We suffer. As opposed to, if we can stay aligned with love, and that can be done in a lot of different ways, but staying aligned with love can keep us, even in the middle of a situation where people are sick, we may be losing loved ones, we may have had or have the virus itself, we may be at home, we may be losing jobs or losing money or staying, being at home, and in some people's language, trapped at home with people we're not normally used to being around so much. And all of that can be looked at either through the lens of love or through the lens of fear. And we're going to have a different experience of it depending on how we're looking at it.
So Kelly, thank you for those words of wisdom, really. And I'm so sorry there's like a very loud truck passing, which you might hear or not. But I'm curious, in addition to, it sounds like for you, coming back to this lens of love versus fear is sort of your mission, right? You not only do that for yourself, but you share it with all those that you teach. In addition to that, is there anything else that's helping you stay conscious and connected during this time?
Yes. So one of the things that I've been asking people about, everybody that I talk to, whether it's my clients, my friends, people in audiences such as this, is what are the gifts in this experience? What are the silver linings? Because most of the people that I talk to, and there doesn't have to be a lot of prompting, but most of the people I talk to can can identify what some of the gifts are for them personally as well as for the world. And so I try to stay focused on that for myself as to what the gifts are for me in my own life, and be able to, whether it's being able to feel more relaxed and not feel like I'm rushing around so much. I tend to be a rusher arounder, and noticing how much I'm not is helping me realize how much I was. I think that there's a real gift in looking at all the busyness and what the busyness was helping me not to think about, and helping me sort of medicate myself from. And so actually really being present with some of the things that I may not have wanted to think about previously. Some of the silver linings are just getting a lot of stuff done that I think my conditioned self, my ego, was trying to sabotage me and try to get me not to get done. And there's just been an expanded sense of time of being able to do some of those things that I love doing and that I really wanted to do. But I think staying present and staying in the now, the very much of this awareness of the present moment, is one of the most helpful things. Because again, we can get crazy with what's going to happen, and what's the world going to be like, and what is all the fallout going to be, and what are all the ramifications going to be. And if we're able to just stay present with, like, right now, in this moment right now, am I okay? In this moment right now, am I able to enjoy something? Am I able to have gratitude for something? I think about gratitude a lot of the day, just sort of randomly. If my eyes light on like a vase of flowers in my home, I'm having gratitude for having fresh flowers in my home. I'm grateful for this experience, being able to to be able to move through it and feel like I'm riding it like a wave, and just being with what it is. I was talking to a client yesterday who was really struggling and saying, it shouldn't be this way, and I can't do it, and it shouldn't be this way, and I'm like, it has to be different, it has to change, except that it can't change. And so when you have that attitude of something that needs to be different and it really can't be, and you can't really do anything to make it different, then you're going to have a real suffering and a struggle on your hands. And so being able to just say, this is what it is right now, and making peace with this is what it is right now, reminding ourselves that everything in this world is temporary. This is a temporal world, so it's always changing. Nothing is the same as it was a year ago, 6 months ago, and certainly 2 months ago. And so being able to remind myself that this too shall pass, and that but for whatever I might be struggling with right now, this is how it is now. And so it's a useless ego, game to be thinking about the ways in which it's a challenge, and to be able to say, okay, if it is a challenge, then I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to focus on what are the silver linings and what can I do to alter my perspective. And A Course in Miracles is very, very useful in that, because it has a tool and a mechanism, a particular type of forgiveness that when you practice it, it actually does shift your perception from fear to love. And so that's my go-to.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So many, again, pearls in that. And so I heard really the surrender. Again, this is a theme that keeps coming up, the surrender to what is right now, to this present moment. And the suffering comes when we try to force it to become something that is not, that we don't have any control over, right?
Right. That's exactly right. I've been putting together a free gift that I'm going to be making available to people on that join my mailing list, and it's a survival kit. And it is a survival kit for staying sane and out of prison during lockdown. And it includes a meditation. It includes that I'm going to do a little bit later here, a version of that. It includes a podcast and also a like a little guide for sort of how to think differently about relationships and about what is disturbing our peace. Because what comes up for me as a counselor, as a coach, and also in my personal life, largely revolves around relationships. It's not just being, where we can't go and what we can't do and all of that, but a lot of it is the relationships and the conflict that comes up in relationships, and not only wanting things to be different in the world, but wanting other people to be different. And wanting them to change and something else and say something different and be a different way. And so that's probably the biggest focus for me, is helping people to make peace with not being able to make other people different.
Oh, wow. That could apply to every single person.
Whether it's whether it's people in your immediate family, or whether it is, people at the grocery store, or the president, or like, anyone really. It's sort of how we suffer when we have judgment about other people and what they should be doing differently that we can't make them do.
True.
Ego set up.
So true. So true. I'm constantly working with clients and couples and myself to, the power lies within us, right? We can change us and how we look at things, and we can change what we're doing and how we can better ourselves. But we have to live and let live and forgive, all those things. So thank you so much. And if you ever decide to facilitate a support group for Russia or rounders, sign me up. And I'd like to be a part of it. That's such a true lesson in all of this. So thank you.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah. And I can't wait to learn more about the package that you're putting together for people to help them during lockdown. And thank you so much for offering one of the things from that. I understand you're going to guide us in a meditation for sanity.
Yeah.
To help us right now. So I'm going to let you do that.
Okay, thank you. I also just want to mention that another kind of a bonus gift that I just want to put out to the audience for anyone who wants to take me up on it is a free 1-hour coaching session. And so that is that's a gift that I want to just make available. And that this brief meditation is part of my daily practice. And it is, its philosophy comes from A Course in Miracles, which basically says that it's a meditation that's a form of prayer. And in A Course in Miracles, prayer is not asking for things. It is, it's not praying for anything. It's literally a communion with whatever our understanding of the higher power is. And in that prayer practice, in that meditation practice, you surrender whatever it is that you think needs to be different in your life, and just like hand it all over, so that there's nothing between your communion with spirit. And A Course in Miracles refers to this as the song of prayer. And that the song is between, in a Course language, the Father and the Son is all of us. We could say the Creator and the created, or, however we call it, the universe and us, whatever. And that as we sing that song back and forth to one another in communion, that is what the gift is. And we are surrendering everything that we think needs to be some other way, and just engaging in that communion as our gift to spirit and spirit's gift back to us. And what the Course also says is that is the song. The harmonics and the overtones are the side effects of that, singing that song and being in communion on a regular basis, which is having the things in our lives that we're surrendering, receiving answers to those things and receiving guidance about how to resolve them and receiving inspiration. But that, and so in effect, it's the answered part of the prayer. Even though we're not praying for things, the answers come as a result of our communing. So, are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just invite you to, if you want to put a hand on your heart, to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, and breathing in peace and breathing out love. Breathing in love, breathing out joy, breathing in joy, breathing out peace. Seeing yourself bathed in beautiful white light, holding the hand of the higher power of your understanding, and whatever that is, and seeing before you an altar of light, and placing on this altar everything that you think needs to happen in order to be at peace. Whether it is things that you lay on the altar one by one, or whether you just dump it all out in a big pile, doesn't matter. Whether it's a bodily concern, whether it's the COVID-19 experience, a financial situation, a relationship issue, anything that disturbs your peace, it doesn't matter. Lay it out all on the altar, and then you watch it. Watch as the altar recedes and disappears into the light. And in this, and as you see it disappear into the light, you step into the light. And in this beautiful light is everyone that you have ever loved and has ever loved you. Past, present, future. Whether they appear to have made their transition from the world or be alive within it, doesn't matter. Everyone is here. There's no one missing. There's no one to wish for. There's nothing lacking. You have everything, and it is perfect. And you are filled with a greater joy than you have ever known. This is your true home. This is the one you've never left, only in dreams. And from this place of perfection and wholeness and oneness and peace, you speak to the Creator. Father, Mother, Spirit, I love you. Thank you for extending yourself and loving me into being. Thank you for giving me all of the characteristics and qualities that you are. Thank you for being my one source, for providing for me, for caring for me. Just as the wave is never separate from the ocean, or the ray from the sun. I am never separate from you or my brothers. We are all one. And I join with you now and commune with you. Thank you. And you can bring your awareness back to the present moment. In the interest of time, what my suggestion is, and that practice is one of the, it's actually a downloadable MP3 on the gift that I was referring to. That practice, I suggest people stay in that meditative place as long as they want in that communion, but I would say like a minimum of 5 minutes. And if you're starting or ending your day in that way, what you'll start to notice is that you feel calmer, you feel more centered, more peaceful. You're coming from a place of love more often, and you're less able to be pulled off of that and less able to be rattled or, you know, get wrapped around the axle. And but what you also notice is that inspiration, ideas, guidance, things just start showing up and you'll notice that they're a response to the things that you put on the altar. And so it's a way of being able to be in trust and surrender the things that stand between you and your joining with your higher power, and trusting that allowing all things to be as they are, and trusting that you don't have to be the one to figure them all out. And that as you engage in this practice, and I do this practice every day, and I've just seen amazing changes in my own being, my own attitude, how I feel, how I approach things, my relationships, and everything I've ever surrendered to that altar. So
thank you. So beautiful, and so generous for you to also offer people to receive your coaching for free for an hour. I highly recommend it. And what is the best way for people to contact you in order to request that?
Yes. So the best way to contact me is through my website, rockyourjoy.com, or my email address is kelly@rockyourjoy.com. You can also reach me on Facebook at Rock Your Joy, Kelly Russell also on Facebook, and Rock Your Joy on Instagram. So any of those ways.
And all that information is right below the description of the video. So people will be able to reach out to you. Kelly, thank you again. I feel so like zen right now.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh,
Coach Kelly.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful being here.
Absolutely. Our pleasure and honor. It'll be so great to share you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.